Hi guys, I'm David from Opus, and today we're going to be going through a 20-minute workout based around Pilates for improving your posture. So let's get going. Now we're going to begin just by starting down on the mat, and we're going to go into a stretch first of all to work on the mobility in your upper back. So start with your knees bent here, and then place your hands just on top of each other like so. If you want to put a little towel underneath your head to support the neck, then that's fine. But first of all we're going to do is just take that top arm and just reach across towards the floor here. You might feel your knees lift a little bit, that's not a problem. And then come all the way back over here. So when you come over, a big inhale. And then exhale as you come across. And the idea behind this one is just to go through a few reps, first of all, to get a little bit more movement through the upper back, stretch the muscles and the joints in the upper back. And the aim is just to go a little bit further on each one. And then once you get to here, for around the next 5 seconds or so, just push your knees down to the floor, reach over towards the opposite side here, and then bring yourself all the way back over to the start position. Now the next one will be your cat stretch, or your cat and your cow. So start in a position where your hands are directly underneath your shoulders, and your hips are over the top of your knees, so you're just here. And the idea is that we're going to reach up through the middle of your back up towards the ceiling and just drop your head down. So you're looking down between your knees at the moment, and then you're going to come back in the opposite direction, extending the spine, and then looking straight ahead towards the wall in front of you. Now as you lift up, we're going to inhale, try and curve the middle of your back as much as you can, and think about tucking the pelvis underneath you like so you get as much stretch through the lower back as well. And then we're going to come back through to that start position. So we inhale, last repetition here, and then we exhale, going back in the opposite direction. That's it. So what we do from this point then, we'll flip onto the other side, and we'll take yourself into that position that we found earlier. So this is your rotation stretch again for the upper back. So the right hand goes on top of the left one, and we're just going to reach as far around as you can. You might find it's very normal to feel that one side is stiffer than the other one, especially if you play a racket sport or something where you're using one arm regularly. Inhale, take yourself over. Pause as far around there as you can. Again, your knees might lift. If you want to put your hand on there and push down, you'll get more of a stretch. And then exhale as you reach over from here. So again, just focus as much as you can on that big stretch, going round to the floor. And then just relax as you come back over. So one more repetition, last time now. That's it. Again, once you get here, push the knees down, twist the spine as much as you can, and just let your head and your neck relax. And then release. So there are more than one plane of motion with the spine. We can go into flexion and extension, lateral flexion, and also rotation. So that exercise is a really good one to do regularly. And that takes us on to the next one now, which is your Cobra. So let's have a lay down on your front. Now the first thing to do is just make sure that you're comfortable. So if you want to put a towel underneath your head or a block, then that will be fine. For now, I'm just going to rest my forehead on the ground. And the first thing I'm going to do is just activate my core muscles. What I want to try and avoid is arching through the lower back. So pull up through your abdominals, and then with your arms just down by your side, I'm going to lift my hands away from the ground, twist the thumbs up towards the sky, and then I'm just going to lift through my upper back. And what we're trying to work on here are the muscles in your upper back, the area right between your shoulder blades. And we're just going to hold here for another 10 seconds or so. Try and lift as high as you can. Again, keeping those abs drawn in. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, and then 1. Bring yourself back down. Now give yourself a little rest. They can be quite hard exercises to do for the first time, so if you need a little break, then take it. Otherwise, we're going to go straight on to the next one now. And this is a slight variation, a slightly harder exercise. So we're going to start with the hands on the ground again. This time keep your chest on the floor, tuck your chin slightly, and we're going to raise the arms to here. So we're back in that same position as before. But now we're just going to go out to the side, lift up, exhale, raise, inhale, lower down, and then come back to your start position. So the arms go out to the side. Notice I'm trying to keep them as far away from the floor as I can. We lift, pause, lower, and then return. Let's go for one more time, just one last time. All the way out to the side. We lift, draw back, and then we come down to relax. Again, those can be quite difficult when you do them for the first time, so just give yourself a little roll through the shoulders and just allow yourself just to release those muscles. Now the next one, we're just going to go through the rotation through the upper back once again. So we've worked on the muscles in between the shoulder blades and in your upper spine. Now we're going to go through one more stretch. So start on all fours again, push up through your arms, and just take your left arm or the furthest arm away from you and reach around here. If you can get your shoulder onto the floor, you're likely to feel a good stretch through the upper back, and then come all the way back out of that one. We can go on to the other side again. Preferable if you're on a slippy floor, because you can just slide your hand across, but if you're not, you could always use a foam roller, put your hand on top of it here, and then push through, and you'll go just a little bit further. So one more repetition. You should exhale as you turn, and that will just allow your rib cage a little bit more movement as you go around. Perfect. So the next one then, still working on those back muscles. Remember the understanding here that we're trying to work on loosening the back, but then also open you in this position. It's your back muscles that are going to do that. So again, you're going to be lying on your front. Slightly different version now of a swimming exercise. Again, it's important that you're going to activate your core muscles just here. So sort of suck your stomach up towards your spine in this direction. And from there, I'm going to lift up my right arm and my left leg. Pause. And then lower all the way back down, and try and get as much space as I do the other side between my fingers and my toes as possible. And I'm trying to lift from my shoulder and from my leg, but not arching through the back. That's an error. So try and keep your lower back fairly neutral. As you lift the arm and the leg, we exhale and then inhale as you go down. So again, as high as you can. A slightly more advanced option would be to do both here. We're just going to do one more time on each side. Good. And then we rest. Perfect. So again, let's give those back muscles a little break. We've done 2 or 3 exercises now where we're really focusing on the muscles behind. We're now going to go into a stretch of these muscles just here. So start in this position with your heels fairly close together. Place your hands down on the floor, and with straight legs, all we're going to do now is just lift the hips off of the ground and try as much as you can to just open through the shoulders. Okay, so the goal here is just to really focus on that spread in this direction. If your wrists hurt, there's no problem with changing the angle at which they're placed on the mat. Just a couple of deep breaths here again, taking your chest bone as far up towards the sky as you can. And then let yourself come all the way back down. So the back muscles have had a little chance to recover. We've also stretched the muscles through the front. We're now going to go through the T, the Y, and an I, and that's all going to be laying down on the mat on your front once again. So from here, we're going to lie. Again, think about those abdominal muscles, and we're going to take the arms out to the side into this position here. Now that's your T. Lift the arms away from the floor. Again, really focus on that area between your shoulder blades and the upper back. Then we're going to take the hands forward, so you're now in a Y shape. That should feel harder. And you can hear from the tone of my voice now, we're going to go into the I, and that's even harder again, trying to keep those hands up. And then we bring the arms back into a little rest. So once again, we take the arms out into your T. Now we go through to the Y. And then we go up into the I. Little pause in each position, hands go down, and we recover. So we're going to go for 2 more repetitions. Out to T, try and lift those hands away from the floor. Up into Y, little pause, and then reach forwards into your I. And then we rest. One last time. Out to a T, Y, and then really push this time as far forwards as you can. Reach the hands up high. 3, 2, 1, and then we rest. Very good. Now we're just going to drop down into your shell stretch now. So place your big toes together, widen your knees, and then just let yourself sit back onto your heels and allow the arms to stretch out in front of you just like so. And then what you should feel is a little stretch that comes in under here, potentially through the middle of your back and your shoulder blades as well. but we're just letting those muscles just stretch and relax until we go into that set again. Good. So just try and set the bum as far back to your heels as you can, and then bring yourself up. So we want to work these muscles for fairly long durations at a time. So we're going to go back through those 4 exercises again now. So we'll start with the Cobra. You're just laying on your front. And once again, just let your legs go down behind you. Your arms are going to come down by your side. The important thing is to draw the shoulder blades away from the floor. That's the important thing here. Draw the shoulders away from the floor. Raise your hands up away from here. And then again, rotate your thumbs up to the sky. Now this time we're just going to focus on keeping your breath correct. When you're laying on your ribs, it's really normal for you not to breathe properly. So try and keep your abdominals switched on, keep your hands high, and just focus on your breathing. Should start to get tough at this point. I can definitely feel my back muscles working, so join me now. Raise as high as you can with your hands. You've got 5, 4, 3, 2, and then 1. Perfect. Again, should feel those muscles in your back. It's quite normal on that one to feel your triceps as well, so you're not doing it wrong. That's very, very normal. So the next one, we're going back into the long swim. So stretch your arms out in front of you. Allow your head just to drop down. And we're going to take the right leg away from the floor with the left arm. Inhale as you lower down. And then exhale, lift the 2 up, away from the ground. Try and focus here again on not moving from the lower back. Keep your pelvis steady and lift from the 2 limbs. Inhale, lower, and then exhale as you lift. And again, we're trying to stretch the hands and the toes as far away from each other. Now at this point, I'm lifting up my neck. Try and keep your chin tucked just here. And let's go for one last time. Both arms and both legs together. Last 3, 2, last 1, and then we rest. Very good. Okay, so back up into that stretch. Again, we're really focusing on rotation today. Really important that we're moving the spine in different directions than what we're used to. So let's just start here. Take the arm, and again, just push across the body. And you're trying to twist. I'll show you from a slightly different angle this way. We're trying to twist the body there rather than lean across, because you probably won't really feel much. Okay, so keep the upper body fairly still, and it's just a twist going under in that direction. Inhale, come up, and then exhale as you reach all the way through once again. If you can, get the shoulder all the way down to the floor, and then come back up. Okay, so the last of those 4 exercises, the T shape, the Y, and the I. This is the last bit of work now, so really good effort for your upper back. All the way down to straight. Start with the arms out just here, engage your abs, and then we lift up into your T. This is where the shoulder blades pull together. Then we're going to come forwards into your Y, and then we reach forwards into your I. At this point, we're trying to lift that little bit higher, and then relax. Start once again, arms out to the side. Tuck your chin. Again, remember, you shouldn't feel any tension in the neck. We lift up, pull the shoulder blades into their sockets, reach up into a Y, and then this is that hard bit again. Reach up high into your I shape and relax. Notice there's a little pause on each one. Here we go. This one we're going to hold for 3 seconds on each. 3, 2, good. Now reach forwards into your Y, high as you can. Here we go. 2, 1, reach for the last time. 3, 2, 1, and then we rest. Very good. So that's enough work through your upper back now. That's to try and combat this sort of forward slouching posture here. I'm sure we're all familiar with it in some way, shape or form. So again, try and stay open through this position. Now the next thing we're going to look at is your hip or your pelvic posture. And first of all, we're going to start with a few stretches just to try and release those muscles again that often get really tight and stiff. So we're going to go first of all into your hamstring scissor. So we're going to lie down just here is the hamstring stretch. Now take one leg up just like this. You can point the toes or you can draw them down however you feel comfortable. Lift your chest away from the floor and just grab the back of your leg. Now if you're more flexible, you'll be able to go much further up than I can, but just behind the knee is fine. Curl your chest up towards the thigh and then float the other leg off the ground. And then what we're going to do from here is simply switch the legs over pull the leg towards your chest, and then we just keep switching here. Now focus on staying really upright through your chest, or at least lifted away from the floor, so then you'll get an activation through your stomach muscles for the first time in the session today. And just really focus on pulling those legs a little bit further in towards you on each repetition. The idea is that you get a really good stretch through the back of the leg here. You might even feel it up in the calf. So just 10 more seconds in this position. Again, because we're staying up through your abdominals, make sure you're breathing as we go. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Okay, so from there, we're now going to go into some rolls through the hips and through the knees, just to let your lower back muscles stretch. So take your arms out to the side, bend your knees so your feet are just flat on the floor like so, and then you're just going to let yourself roll from one side across to the other side. And all we're trying to do here is stretch those muscles that live just down beside your rib cage. If you're particularly tight, you're likely to feel this through here. So the muscle that runs from the base of your shoulder blade down to the hip, but you might also feel these muscles here. And just let the legs come across. If you want to make it a little bit more abdominal focused, then lift the legs off the ground. And then that will require a little bit more control to come across. But as I say, the idea of this one is just to loosen off those muscles in the back and through the hips. Perfect. So when we've done that, we're going to come up into a hip flexor stretch. So a really important aspect of getting our pelvic posture right is being able to have a neutral position through here. When our hip flexors get tight, we tend to tip forwards at the hips. So what we're going to do from here is just place one leg out in front of the other one like so, hands go on the knee, and we're just going to lean forwards into a stretch here. Now I'll show you front on as well, because that leg was blocking you. So we're going to come here, take the leg as far forwards as you can. The further forwards it goes makes it harder. And we're just going to push through. And the stretch should be felt actually in this leg. Although this one's forward, your stretch is here. Now pull the front of your pelvis up, so be fairly tall, lift up through the rib cage. And then again, just lean into that stretch. So just 10 more seconds. And just push into your knee to extend your spine as well. Last 3, should feel like a really nice stretch in here. 2 and 1. Perfect. So we'll go exactly the same on the other side. So step this one forwards, place the foot flat. Important that you're trying to keep your hips square on this one. Okay, so again, think about where your hips are aligning. Your legs should also be the same. Hands on here for balance if you like, and then come through. Now again, if that feels easy, then you simply just walk this front foot a little bit further forwards, and then you push through. But it's really got to focus on that hip on this left side now, just pushing into it to try and open up those muscles. Good. So the last few seconds now, just 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. So we've just worked on trying to increase the range of motion around the hips. So now we're going to work on the muscles on the opposite side, and these are your glutes. So we're going to go into what we call the bridge next. So lie flat down, and then just reach your fingertips to touch your heels. And that's the sort of distance that you should have between your heels and your bum. Lie all the way down flat, and again, just let the shoulders and the head relax. And then push from the feet all the way up until your hips are up in this position here. And what you'll feel when you get to the top is that these muscles here, your glutes or your bum muscles, tighten. And then just release that off and roll down through the spine. And that roll is the important bit. What we're trying to do here is roll the pelvis back, then lift up from the lower back, then through the middle, and then all the way up to the top. And it's that movement, that peeling action, that's going to help us to loosen off your spine. Looking at the articulation on the way up, and then the contraction of your glutes at the top. A little pause, and then all the way back down. So carry on with this one. If you want to work a little bit harder, you can do this on one leg. So you would just simply lift up one leg to here, or even harder is up to straight, and then you lower down in exactly the same way. So we'll do 2 on this leg, and then when we come down, we'll change now. Just 2 more repetitions. So that leg goes up, we push through. keeping those hips nice and level. Little pause. And then we lower all the way back down, last one. So again, squeeze through the glute, push your shoulders back, and then slowly bring yourself all the way back down. Perfect. So from this position now then, our last area to work on is our core muscles. We've spoken about how we can move the upper back in the right way. The same thing with the pelvis. Now we're going to link it all together with your abdominal muscles. So you're still lying on your back. Make yourself comfy. Allow the arms to go down to your side and just float your legs up into a tabletop position here. Now when you lift up, keep the ribs down so that you're not arching under here. And then take a big breath in. As you exhale, push one leg forwards. Pause, and then inhale, return. And you should feel a really nice pull through your core muscles. Exhale as you push forwards, pause, and then inhale to return. Now carry on if that's hard enough. If you want to work harder, both legs go forwards, and then draw back. Again, we exhale, really focusing on those core muscles, and then inhale as you come back in. If you want to work harder, you simply then just extend the legs, pause, and then come back. Time for 2 more. Again, exhale, push forwards. Inhale, return. One last time now. Here we go. Last 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and then relax. Good. Just hug the knees in, just a little roll from side to side. And then we're going to work on your plank. So roll over onto your forearms. Take them down to here, and then your legs go out into a straight position, like so. Now I'm sure we're all familiar with the plank. There are loads of different ways of doing it, but start with your elbows aligned straight underneath your shoulders, your feet fairly close together, and lock out your knees so they're nice and straight. Now just focus on your lower back position. Remember we spoke about the pelvic tilting here. Try now to really focus on keeping your back as neutral as you can, and you'll feel it. If you hold for much longer and your back isn't in the right position, it will start to ache. Good, last 10 seconds. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then we relax. Very good. So those exercises can be done as often as you like. In all truth, the more you do them, the better your posture will be over time. Thanks for joining me, and enjoy the rest of your day.